I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the GCP, where the vibes are free at 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. We are going to be at the pub on March 1st. Hope to see you there. They've got tickets for all Sens home games, $17 round trip. Really not a better deal to get to and from the CTC. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson, covering a loss. For the first time in a long time, the Senators come up without a single point, losing 4-3 on the second half of a back-to-back in Tampa Bay. Overshadowing this loss, though, the loss of Shane Pinto, who left the game in the first period and did not return. Jack, it was too little too late in a sense. Always a little salt in the wound when you end up being the game-winning goal on an empty net.
It really hurts too, especially because Batherson answered so quickly, right? Sanderson extends his point streak, and you're thinking he could have just prevented that empty netter. And honestly, that power play at the end was almost poorly timed. You got 2 minutes kind of back and forth, and then the top guys are tired, and you got to work all that out. So obviously, when the empty net goes in, you're not thinking, "Hey, this is going to be the game winner." You're kind of thinking the game's over, but then you score, and like you said, it ends 4-3 in regulation. But at the end of the day, that's just a regulation loss in what was basically a mini playoff series. That was game one. They are back at it again on Thursday against Tampa Bay, but that's a tough loss. And listen, we'll dive into all the reasons why, what happened in that game, but you can't win them all, and all good things must come to an end, Ross. It happens every day to teams. Tough one for the Sens to swallow.
It's awful and tough situation. Obviously, second half back-to-back. No excuses. The boys should have been juiced up. You knew that Tampa, who was waiting for them at home, would be as well, and they poured it on early. Shout out to Linus Ullmark. I thought he looked pretty solid. Maybe you don't love the second goal against. There was, of course, an empty netter. So Ullmark in his first game in 44 days makes 35 saves, I believe, if I'm counting the empty netters right. 34 saves on 37 shots. That's a .919 save percentage. So there was some thought, is he going to be rusty? Is he going to be ready? Well, this loss is definitely not on Linus Ullmark. And the expectation is that you go back to him on Thursday in a game where you're rested, you should be ready to go, and it's about getting the offense at the right time. I know Ottawa scores first in this game. Now they're 22-4 when scoring first, but you knew you needed more than one to beat Tampa, and I thought they did a good job fighting back. They go down 2-1. Tampa went to work on the power play for one of their goals in the second period. Nikita Kucherov, one-timer, tough to stop, but the bounce back 2 minutes later for Claude Giroux, getting this game tied going into the third period, you felt like that was a good place to be. On the road, second half back-to-back, get to the third period tied. You have 20 minutes to win a hockey game, but it came apart rather quickly, where Brandon Hagel scores less than 2 minutes into the third period, unassisted, to give Tampa the lead. They never looked back. Ottawa didn't get a shot on goal until about midway through the period, and what a shot it was. Claude Giroux on a beautiful feed, and it's just a nice pad save from Vasilevsky. He wasn't busy, but he was solid in this game too. So it's tough. It's one you got to eat. It's actually the first time the Sens have lost in regulation when scoring a goal, one goal, since Dallas on January 2nd. Like, this is more than a month of that. They lost in overtime against Detroit 3-2, but other than that, it was a shutout loss against St. Louis, shutout loss against Washington, shutout loss against the Rangers, shutout loss against the Boston Bruins. So this is a bit of uncharted territory here for us, Jack.
Yeah, you'll take that one basically in terms of losses. You'll take that any day of the week. And again, like, not an excuse podcast. The team won't make excuses, which they shouldn't, because it's the NHL. Everyone plays back-to-backs all season. Everyone has tough travel, all this, and the Sens have been through theirs. But I'll be the guy. I'll put my hand up. I'll make some excuses for the team. Tampa was sitting there for a few days, not playing, rested, home ice, all of that. The Sens come in, traveled, played a hard game last night, have played a lot of hockey lately. And yeah, you're due for that. And I think even despite all of that, that was a really good effort, all things considered. Losing Shane Pinto early as well, right? Like, that wasn't midway through the game or anything. That was first couple shifts in, and we'll touch on the impact and the possible impact of losing Shane Pinto, because that's a blow. And what I think I like most about their effort tonight, though, is that it didn't look like they let that sag them, if that makes sense. I thought Ridley Gregg was fine. I thought Stutzler really stepped up when Pinto went down. So yeah, going forward, not the best. And you would have liked to squeaked out a point at least in that game when you had it there for the taking, especially because you lose a guy like that. And that's going to be a problem. Who knows how long he'll be out. Hopefully it's not that long term, but that was a game where honestly sitting back here, and I think sitting on it more, even standings wise, yeah, you want to beat Tampa. Tampa's now inching closer. They're 2 points back with 2 games in hand, whatever. The standings are going to be tight until the end of the year. I'm not looking at this loss and saying it's one they let get away. I think it didn't feel like the Boston and the Rangers loss where they just couldn't generate anything, right? They had their looks. They did. They got a couple in. And again, the back-to-backs are tough, man. Like they've played a lot of them recently as well. And I think some of the results in those games have maybe made us forget as Sens fans how hard it is to play back-to-back with travel, especially. So you're not going to find me ripping on them for a couple of things. There are some things we can talk about though. But I do think Linus Ullmark was, for the most part, a bright spot tonight. A lot of volume, especially in the first period. And I liked his game. I thought he was solid. And I don't know. I'm not a goalie analyst, but most of those goals, they're from distance, a few of them, but I'm not going to nitpick those on Linus Ullmark in his first game back.
No, he made some huge saves as well. There was one break in particular where it was a great momentum stopper for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, no, all in all, good performance from Linus Ullmark. It was the third game in 4 nights in 3 different cities for the Ottawa Senators. So I think being in the same spot now and getting to regroup and have a day tomorrow to catch their breath, get ready for the game on Thursday. I said on yesterday's postcast, the games are coming so fast and furious. We got to be able to stay on our toes as well. But with that, you got to win one of these 2 games. That's the key. You got to win 1 of 2. So now you're putting pressure on yourself to show up for Thursday. And I'd like to see Brady Tkachuk lead the way. I didn't think he was at his best tonight. The counting stats are there in terms of shots on goal. Had 5 of them in this game, had 4 hits as well, but wasn't impactful the way that you would have hoped that he was when the team needed a hero tonight. The Senators got goals from Michael Amadio, Claude Giroux, and Drake Batherson in this one. 2 assists from Thomas Chabot, 1 assist from Jake Sanderson. And we mentioned 34 saves in goal for Linus Ullmark. While I'm on the point totals there, I should mention Tim Stützle also with an assist. So too does David Perron and Ridley Gregg. The big story coming out of this one, other than Linus Ullmark being back, is the exit of Shane Pinto. No excuse, though. Nick Paul left this game, who's basically Tampa Bay's equivalent of Shane Pinto, the way they do it all, if I want to borrow an old phrase from Nick Paul. So both teams were without them. Anthony Cirelli did come back, but missed a bunch of this game as well. He left. So definitely not an excuse, but long-term, if you're an Ottawa Senators fan, already without Josh Norris, has to be a concern. Especially the way he went off grabbing his left arm. Didn't know whether it was an elbow, shoulder. You got to hope it's not a shoulder based on his history as well. And shocker, the way the Ottawa Senators have stayed tight-lipped about injuries this year, there was no update provided after the game from Travis Green. So we'll have to sit back, guess, see what's going on with Shane Pinto. But they're going to have to make a call-up if he can't go on Thursday. They have no extra forwards with them. And man, that would be a huge loss because he's been playing some of the best hockey I've seen him play his whole career.
He's been so good. And yeah, look, we're not going to do a, in memorial of Shane Pinto because he could be back. We don't know. But yeah, like the way he went off just didn't look great. Way he went in, like it's those plays where it doesn't look that vicious, right? Where you're thinking, and we know as Sens fans with Josh Norris, even with Pinto himself, where those shoulder, upper body, upper arm, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, just not hating on the Ottawa Senators and the way they're handling these injuries, but when you're cagey about injuries, it makes people speculate. And that's what we're going to do, because when you don't say what it is, and I'm not even saying about tonight with Pinto, because they probably don't even know. Like they don't want to say for certain, or Green probably doesn't even know himself, but they've been cagey with a lot of injuries, like with Norris. Like he's been injured a couple times this year. They haven't said what it is. It's going to make people speculate. And if that's what you're trying to avoid in the first place, just say what it is. That's my opinion on it. Anyway, you don't need to outright say it's a shoulder, but I just think it's ridiculous saying we don't know. We'll have an update. And you can tell the media they're trying to get questions. They're trying to get answers on it, and he just won't tell them. So that's what we're going to speculate. And to me, it looked like Shane Pinto grabbed his shoulder. It looked like he grabbed his shoulder. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way he was flexing it after. I thought he did that after his first shoulder injury. Not trying to be the bearer of bad news. That's just what it looked like to me. He was immediately grabbed that upper arm. So we'll see what that means. I'm not saying it's a season-ending thing by any means. Who knows? But it's a blow. It's a blow. Pinto, I think, had an argument to be one of their best forwards since the new year. He was just all over the place. I mentioned after that Leafs game, which started that win streak, I thought it was his best game in the NHL, just shutting down Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. So massive, massive loss if he's out for any extended period of time. You almost hope that they can just use this break as a bit of a reset in terms of an injury, but I know that doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme, right? If he's out, he's out. So we'll see what's up with Shane Pinto, but I don't know about you, Ross. I did still like their response after he went out, specifically in the second period.
Yeah, second period I thought was their best. They got some really good chances, just could not convert. Senators lose this game 4-3 in regulation to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa outshoots Ottawa 38-28. Ottawa goes 1 for 2 on the power play. They had a chance late to get this game even, could not convert. And then Ryan McDonagh out of the box gets the eventual game-winning goal because he scored the empty netter. And then 15 seconds later, Drake Batherson went down and ripped one past Andrei Vasilevsky. Shots on goal, I already mentioned. Face-offs, Ottawa had a huge advantage, 62% to 38. Ottawa had 16 blocks to Tampa's 10. Tampa out-hit Ottawa 17-13, and at 5-on-5, Tampa was just the better team, 65% of the expected goals. On the other side, we have Brandon Pillar standing by for a boots-on-the-ground report. But first, let me tell you that the Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. It's our pub in the heart of the Glebe. You can head there for great food, awesome vibes, and atmosphere to match. You can get on the Send Shuttle for upcoming home games, like the Saturday game, February 22nd, first game after the Four Nations tournament, just $17 round trip. They've got tickets for the Jets game as well. And Locked On Senators night, March 1st against the San Jose Sharks. Get your tickets early for that one. If we need a second bus, we will get one. And we leave the pub an hour and 15 minutes before the game. Takes you right to the rink and then back 15 minutes after the final buzzer. Sue is an expert driver, takes you through all the back roads, beats the traffic, and make sure that you get to spend some great time at the GCP, where they have live music every Saturday night. They've got an awesome food menu, great food, great drinks. It's a place to share with friends and neighbors. The Glebe Central Pub is your neighborhood pub in the heart of the Glebe. So head there today, Glebe Central Pub, and make sure to check them out online at glebecentralpub.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. It is America's #1 sportsbook. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, two teams, endless possibilities. And there's no better way to make every moment more exciting than with the FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. With live betting all game long, you can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, an official partner of Super Bowl 59. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson. Sens lose 4-3 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, but there were plenty of Sens fans in attendance, including we got a twofer for the people. Not only Brandon Pillar, but we got the whole Postcast crew here. It is Brandon Pillar and Lalim's Martian. Fellas, how's the game?
Tough outcome there. I really thought, I don't know about you, Martian, but when Batherson got that goal to make it 4-3, I thought the Sens were getting right back in this one and we were going to have ourselves a close game, maybe some OT, but just, I mean, you're coming off the second half of a back-to-back. You're the team that's traveling, so it's tough for the Ottawa Senators here, and a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, and anytime you're looking at having to score 2 goals against Andrei Vasilevsky in a minute 35, I think you know you're in one on that, in that situation. Great job by Batherson getting that goal to bring it back within one, but I mean, you know, the boys just left themselves with a little too late situation there, fellas.
Boys, what'd you think about the crowd, the Sens fans in Tampa? It looked like there were a lot. Sounded like there were a lot. It was pretty great. I don't know what it felt like in the building. I'm sure it was even better than through the broadcast.
Oh, yeah, there was a good crew of Sens fans. Before the game at Hat Tricks, we had a good crew. And then at the game, it was pretty well covered by Sens fans here.
Yeah, I mean, especially after the first Ottawa Senators goal, I could hear the guy next to me talking a little bit like, wow, I didn't realize how many Ottawa Senators fans were here tonight. I mean, the Ottawa Senators were well represented tonight. I think they knew that. I think the boys actually played a really good game overall. But at the end of the day, obviously Tampa's a really good team, and that showed tonight, right? Like, Vasilevsky made that incredible save in the third period, and to me, that was basically the story of the game. He played so well that, you know, the Sens had nothing after that. It was just a matter of, you know, you got goalied a little bit, but also the boys just didn't have enough in the tank. I think Thursday is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, because Pillzy won't be there. Half Jap 1980 says, can we get an LOSP stats department goal of Pillzy's boots on the ground road record?
Yeah, my road record is not good. I don't know. I thought maybe having Martian here, having my fiance Simone here, I thought that would kind of squash that bad luck that I have, but clearly not enough to get it done here. But this was a close one.
Yeah, my road record's no better either, Ross. So I can't really vouch for myself on that either. Hopefully Thursday will be better, but obviously coming off a back-to-back, it's not going to be easy for these boys. So I think the people in the chat know that. I think the people in the chat are happy with where this team's at. You're coming off a 5-game win streak. You lose one, no big deal. Let's rebound here. Let's get her going. Allmark's back, and he looked great.
Boys, last one from me. I got one more. I like that you guys got the palm tree behind you because obviously you're in Florida. The weather's beautiful. Are you guys sweating in those jerseys? How hot is it down there?
No, it's not that bad. It's perfect, and this is Ross's normal attire, no matter what the temperature is, but it's perfect jersey and shorts weather. You can't complain.
Jersey and shorts, all-time combo. Boys, give me a Sen Central standout tonight.
Hashtag goalie-friendly show. I got the Linus Ullmark jersey on right now. He was third star of the game at the arena. I thought Ullmark had a good game. I really didn't expect him to be in a position where he could steal a win for the Ottawa Senators, but he got 37 shots on and 34 saves. And Martian, I don't know about you, but I don't really expect him to save any of those goals. The Kucherov one-timer, no chance on that one. And then you look at that was me that time. And then you look at a tip also, and then Hagel, he gets one through a screen of Tyler Clevin. Sorry about that, Ross.
A little palm tree F-bomb.
This guy goes to Florida and he just lets it rip, eh?
We got Florida Pillzy here, and I'm just gonna go.
Keep it clean.
I'm gonna go with the old, the grizzled vet. I get one swear, right, Russ?
No.
I'm gonna go with the old Claude Giroux here on this one. I thought he had a great game. Huge face-off wins, especially on the power play, and then late in the game, he was snapping them back. It seemed like, I don't know the exact stats, Ross. You could probably pull them up. And then obviously a great little goal there. Great shot, well placed. Not the hardest shot in the world, but he knew what he was doing there. He had traffic in front and just kind of placed one over to the right side there on Vasilevsky. That's how you beat a good goalie. You got to get in front of his eyes and kind of sneak one by him there. So for me, Claude Giroux, I thought had an incredible game, and I'm going to go with him for my standout.
Yeah, nice call, Marshy. 17 face-offs for Giroux. He won 13 of them for 76%.
I mean, dude, I was watching him do it all night. It was incredible. So, yeah, he was awesome. I mean, a lot of the guys were really good tonight, but I thought the whole team played well. It was just we got beat by a good team, and we had a good game. That's not. There's no shame in that, boys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Honorable mentions for me. I thought Michael Amadio had a nice game, and Nick Jensen, first game back, I thought he looked sharp out there.
You're stealing Jack and Ross's standouts right now.
Yeah, how many are you going to leave us? We got no one left.
Those are honorable mentions, guys.
So what's the setup there? Are you guys in the rink right now?
No, we're outside the rink.
Outside.
This is what I was going to say. So I know we're building a rink out, hopefully downtown eventually. This is the kind of setup you need to have.
There's a bar right there.
Bar outside. You could bring your drinks with you.
Yeah.
It's I walked out of the arena with my beer into the plaza. It's totally legal here to do that, and it's just a great setup in general. Like, this whole plaza was filled with fans prior to the game and post game. So,
and you got that open patio bar too, and it's a nice arena.
You want the outdoor patio in Ottawa for January games?
Ross, throw a couple heaters in here. Get everybody throw their mittens on, throw their jackets on, and you can have a party out here, no problem in Ottawa. People in Ottawa are tougher than here in Tampa, whatever.
And you can have an outdoor patio in May and June.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I hear you.
Get creative with it. Throw a tent over it so it's not snowing on you.
Yeah.
Throw some heaters in that thing. Get everybody inside of it, and let's go. It's easy.
All right, boys. Well, hey,
take notes, ownership group. I know you're watching.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And shout out to Frank Pinto tonight. He stood in there after his son obviously got injured. I know you're listening, Frank. Great job in the stands tonight. Everybody in that family section tonight was awesome. So I think it was a lot of fun.
All right, there they go. Lalim's Martian, Pillzy. You'll hear more from Brandon Pillar tomorrow. Martian will have a boots on the ground report on Thursday. Stay safe down there, fellas. Enjoy the rest of your evening. There goes Brandon Pillar and Lalim's Martian. Nice having the whole Postcast crew together. We'll wrap up this game on the other side. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson after a 4-3 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. At least the boys are having fun down there, eh?
It made the vibe a little bit better. I'm not going to lie. Just hockey's fun. They had a good game. I think that them being in the building, boots on the ground, their vibes being like, yeah, they played a good game. They were right there to the end. That's all you can ask for, right? Especially second half of a back-to-back. So I think their perspective was good. That was a decent effort, all things considered, from the Ottawa Senators, especially at the end of a 5-game losing streak. So quickly, Ross, just before we get into our standouts, honestly, they grabbed most of the players I was going to mention. I don't really have anyone else. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the other end of this? We got to talk about the third pairing. We got to talk about the difference in the lineup tonight versus last night. We have to, because the unforced error from the Sens tonight, I don't think they iced their best lineup. That's basically what it was. Clevin and Hamonic were on the ice for the only even strength goals against. They were -2 tonight. I don't know. Like that's to me is just an unforced error from the coaching staff.
Yeah, and Sens fan and Van mentioning agreed that Ullmark's the Sens standout. The bright side is that Ullmark is cool, casual, Terminator mode. Looking forward to seeing him again on Thursday. Yeah, the third pair. We'll wrap up the show with this. Sens Central standouts brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Martian and Pillzy took them for both of us. I said yes to the last game. I said if Martin Paolo comes out, I'm going to be upset. And then I got so excited for tonight's game. I was like, you know what? Just whatever you want. Put him in. Let's go. But again, it cost them the game. And I don't know how they can continue to defend putting Travis Hamonic in. I saw a stat on Twitter tonight where out of every single player in the National Hockey League that has at least, let me get the stat here, shout out the Zoobcast to get this one, with 600 minutes of 5-on-5, 379 players have played that much, and he ranks dead last in goals for percentage. Hamonic's been on the ice for 10 goals for and 23 against. It's inexcusable.
Look, and it's not even a thing against Hamonic himself. Like, we could talk about his play to the end of time, like his offensive zone, whatever it is. He eats pucks. He's a great guy on the bench in the room. He's been here for a few seasons now. To me, it's even just a chemistry thing. You've got Sanderson Zub, elite. You've got Shabbat Jensen, elite. And then you've got, like Hamonic and no one else have chemistry. And Clevin and Martin Paolo found something. They found something. They were reliable, and they were actually giving you positive minutes in a bottom pairing, which is what playoff teams need to have. And with Hamonic, he hasn't found chemistry with anyone. It's like they're trying to put a square peg into a round hole, it feels like, with Hamonic. So to me, I think this is a great opportunity for the coaching staff. You're playing the exact same team in the exact same building. I think they need to make a lineup change there. I think it'll be a good test to see what they do on the back end.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow on Locked On Senators. Lots more coming up on tomorrow's show. I know it's a short postcast tonight, but tough loss for the Ottawa Senators, 4-3, and we got lots of meat to chew on for tomorrow's game, like if Travis Hamonic will remain in the lineup on Thursday. For tonight, we say goodbye. Let's get some Go Sens Go in the chat here for Jack Richardson. I'm Ross Levitan. Another LOSP tomorrow morning. Appreciate everybody for venting, vibing, excuse cast, whatever you want to call it. For Jack Richardson, I'm Ross Levitan. You can follow us at the links below at Sen Central on Twitter. This has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Head to 779 Bank Street and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you.